You have probably been glued to your feed, tracking the raw, shocking fallout surrounding global digital creator, the wizard Liz, after her unexpected separation from her former fiancé. It is deeply jarring to watch a prominent voice of extreme female self-worth and sharp psychological boundaries get systematically blindsided by a partner who initially projected absolute loyalty and family perfection. If you are trying to make sense of how predatory partners hide their true character and want to discover how to insulate your own life against this specific brand of emotional extortion, this structural analysis will provide that critical clarity. We are going to expose how narcissistic individuals utilize intense temporary vulnerabilities against their partners and trace a clear psychological path toward reclaiming your ultimate personal sovereignty. This entire public conflict involving Liz and her ex-partner Landon functions as a brutal case study in how synthetic masculine commitment operates under false pretenses within high-stakes romantic scenarios. During the highly sensitive 4th month of her pregnancy, she uncovered a devastating infidelity that instantly completely shattered the relationship. This calculated timing reveals a dark behavioral truth about entitled men, who often wait to unleash their toxic habits until they believe a woman is legally, geographically, or biologically locked in. When a man operates with this predatory mindset, he can treat a pregnant partner as a captured audience who will simply absorb the disrespect because she has too much skin in the game to walk away. The situation rapidly deteriorated into a complex international nightmare when her legal status in the United States expired shortly after her baby was born, leaving her with no choice but to return to Europe. This is precisely where the hidden machinery of a man's desperation reveals a sinister tactical play that catches most traditional women completely off guard. Instead of cooperating to establish a stable co-parenting routine for the newborn, the ex-fiancé immediately weaponized the legal framework to block the infant from leaving American soil with her. He twisted the agonizing reality of her forced immigration hurdle to launch a public smear campaign, falsely claiming to his social circle that she was voluntarily abandoning her child. This cruel methodology relies on the strategic exploitation of maternal instincts, effectively turning a mother's visceral bond with her baby into a high-stakes emotional hostage situation. By threatening to permanently sever her physical access to her newborn through complex legal loopholes, a controlling man attempts to force psychological submission and total behavioral compliance from a distance. He does not act out of a genuine, self-sacrificing desire to perform full-time single-parent duties, but rather out of a desperate need to punish the woman for daring to reject his authority. This calculated display of power proves that an entitled partner will gladly burn down his own child's stability just to scratch the itch of his bruised masculine vanity. In her recent definitive public statement, Liz completely short-circuited his predictable cycle of victimization by demonstrating the core tenets of an unshakable black cat. She openly refused to yield to his emotional blackmail, stating that if he truly wished to assume the monumental operational burden of a solo father under these forced conditions, she would step back and let him bear it. This radical refusal to panic instantly dismantles the manipulator's strategy, because his entire leverage depends on the woman begging, overcompensating, or compromising her boundaries out of sheer terror. By adopting a stance of icy pragmatism, she took the weapon out of his hands and forced him to stand face-to-face with the real-world consequences of his own choices. This confrontational boundary setting highlights a vital cultural shift regarding how high-value women must navigate intense manipulation when dealing with a malicious and entitled person. The traditional narrative conditioning dictates that a good mother must absorb unlimited emotional abuse and yield her personal rights just to preserve an illusion of family harmony. By completely rejecting this toxic expectation, she proved that true psychological survival sometimes requires a cold detachment that prioritizes harsh institutional realities over raw emotional sentimentality. Her actions prove that you can never negotiate with a partner who uses transactional warfare, because any minor concession you make will simply become the baseline for his next demand. When you observe this dynamic through a clinical lens, you realize that his aggressive posturing is actually a sign of extreme desperation. If you have ever experienced a situation where an unstable partner tried to weaponize something you deeply loved against your peace of mind, please share your experience in the comments below so we can expose these hidden patterns together. His reliance on public shaming, legal threats, and emotional hostage-taking proves that he no longer possesses any organic attraction or voluntary leverage over your life. He is forced to use external structures of control because his internal character is entirely incapable of commanding your natural respect or voluntary loyalty. A central thesis of her message was beautifully summarized in the iconic phrase that is currently echoing across millions of global households. It ends with us. This statement serves as a generational boundary line, a firm declaration that the historical cycle of women tolerating men's disrespect and giving in to psychological blackmail stops entirely right here. To embody the true essence of a black cat means realizing that your personal boundaries are completely non-negotiable, regardless of the emotional or social collateral involved. When you decide that you would rather face an uncomfortable, painful transition than tolerate a single second of calculated manipulation, you become entirely unbreakable. The geopolitical and legal hurdles faced by immigrant women in these situations add an incredibly heavy layer of isolation that institutional systems frequently overlook. Being forced to navigate complex international custody laws while simultaneously processing severe romantic betrayal is a burden that would break the average person's resolve. This is why cultivating an unshakable community of high-value women who understand these deep behavioral mechanics is essential for long-term survival and success. You cannot afford to rely on superficial advice when your future, your freedom, and your psychological integrity are being actively targeted by a malicious person. To master these complex interpersonal power dynamics and protect your personal peace against emotional blackmail, the Black Cat Playbook offers a definitive behavioral blueprint. This tactical guide outlines exactly how to identify hidden manipulation early, establish unshakable boundaries, and maintain your absolute composure during high-stress conflicts. You can claim your personal copy of the manual right now by accessing the official link available in the description box down below. If you are still watching this breakdown, congratulations. You are actively developing a rare psychological lens and a level of clarity that most women never live to cultivate. It is dangerously easy to look at public figures and assume their relationships are immune to the darker impulses of human behavior, but entitlement can compromise any environment. Men who possess deep-seated control issues will happily utilize any available proxy, including their own flesh and blood, to break a woman's spirit and protect their fragile ego. Understanding that this behavior is a structural flaw in his character, rather than a reflection of your worth, is the initial step towards total immunity. The core reality that every woman must internalize is that if you compromise even an inch of territory to an emotional blackmailer, the pattern will inevitably repeat itself with greater intensity. But this is exactly where most women make a critical mistake that keeps them trapped in cycles of chronic emotional abuse for years. They waste their limited cognitive energy trying to appeal to the manipulator's conscience, mistakenly believing that he will eventually experience a breakthrough of genuine empathy or remorse. In reality, a toxic individual does not operate under the same moral framework as you, and he views your logical explanations merely as raw data to weaponize against you. True psychological dominance is never achieved through verbal persuasion. It is established through the cold, absolute withdrawal of your emotional compliance and physical presence. Many women choose to stay trapped in these future-faking dynamics because they suffer from a deep fear of losing the beautiful dream he painted. This scarcity mindset forces you to protect bad investments, blinding you to the destructive reality of what currently is. While you waste your valuable time and cognitive energy waiting for a manipulator to change, you block high-value opportunities from entering your reality. Choosing to invest in empty words is a high-opportunity cost decision that keeps your romantic life completely stagnant and dependent on his whim. Stepping away from his fictional landscape requires real courage, but it is the only path towards creating a real life built on genuine respect. True personal empowerment begins the absolute second you realize that you possess total authority over how you respond to psychological warfare. You cannot control his capacity for deception, nor can you alter his decision to use low-value manipulation tactics to satisfy his bruised masculine ego. However, you retain complete and absolute control over whether you will bend to his will or stand firmly behind your baseline standards of self-respect. Choosing to walk away from his chaotic theater of drama is the ultimate exercise of this personal sovereignty, signaling that your peace is entirely non-negotiable. As this public narrative continues to unfold, the long-term lesson for the collective female consciousness remains clear and entirely irrefutable. The era of the hyper-flexible, endlessly forgiving partner who tolerates systematic disrespect under the guise of unconditional love is officially over. High-value women are increasingly recognizing that short-term peace achieved through submission is merely a temporary illusion that guarantees long-term psychological bankruptcy. By standing firm against the currents of emotional manipulation, you actively participate in a broader cultural awakening that redefines the standards of modern relationship dynamics. Reclaiming your personal narrative requires a total reinvestment of your cognitive energy away from his chaotic actions and back into your own professional, physical, and psychological growth. You stop playing the role of the reactive victim in his manufactured crises, and instead become the sole, definitive author of your next chronological steps. This intentional shift forces the toxic individual to face the stark reality of his own isolation while you continue to ascend. By focusing entirely on your own path, you establish a permanent boundary that no low-value tactic can ever hope to penetrate or disrupt. If you found these specific behavioral insights valuable for your personal growth, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now and hit the like button. Elevating your psychological standards helps expand this independent community of strong women who refuse to accept manipulation. Click on the card on the screen right here if you want to watch the video that I've made about why a detached woman is dangerous and why you should be one. Thank you so much for watching. Keep prioritizing your peace, and I will see you in the next video.